It was an ordinary day in Colorado Springs, a quiet neighborhood where families went about their lives, trusting their children to local daycare providers. But on November 13th, 2019, that trust was shattered in the most chilling and unexpected way. Behind the walls of a seemingly normal daycare center, police would uncover a secret so horrifying that it left an entire community shaken. This is the true story of the missing children found inside a wall. We will also reveal if our previous story, the disappearance of Maura Murray, is true or fictional at the end of this video, so stay tuned. It all started with a series of complaints. Parents began noticing something strange about Play Mountain Place, an in-home daycare run by Carla Faith, a middle-aged woman who had built a reputation as a kind and trustworthy caregiver. The complaints weren't about abuse or neglect, at first. Instead, they were about something more subtle: overcrowding. Parents wondered why there always seemed to be so many children at the daycare, far more than state laws allowed for a home-based childcare facility. The daycare's license only permitted 6 children under the age of 6 at any given time, but neighbors and visitors suspected there were many more. The Colorado Department of Human Services had already received reports and sent inspectors to investigate. Each time, Carla managed to evade suspicion. On paper, everything appeared compliant. Inspectors saw no signs of extra children, and Carla had a calm demeanor that reassured everyone. But parents' concerns didn't go away. Neighbors occasionally heard children crying, many children, but when they passed by the home, they couldn't see them. It was as if the children had vanished. On that November day, police officers arrived at the daycare after yet another complaint. This time, they weren't just inspectors. They were law enforcement, determined to find out the truth. Carla Faith met them at the door. Her smile seemed forced. When officers asked about the children, she insisted there were no kids there that day. She claimed the daycare wasn't operating and that she had sent the children home. Yet something didn't feel right. As the officers stood in the quiet house, they couldn't shake the eerie feeling that something was off. The silence was unnatural. Then, faintly, they heard it. A muffled sound, like a child's whimper. It was coming from somewhere inside the house. The officers pressed Carla for answers, but she remained evasive. Growing more suspicious by the minute, the officers began a search. They combed through the house, opening doors, checking closets, and scanning every corner. That's when they noticed a strange feature in one of the rooms, a solid-looking wall that didn't seem to belong. It was crudely built, as if someone had added it in a hurry. Behind that wall, they discovered a secret door leading to the basement. What they found next was nothing short of horrifying. Packed into a tiny, windowless basement were 26 children, all under the age of 3. 2 adult caretakers were in the room, overwhelmed and visibly stressed, trying to keep the children quiet. The conditions were deplorable. The air was stuffy, and the space was far too small for so many kids. Some children were crying. Others were visibly distressed, their faces streaked with tears. Many were in soiled diapers, and the overwhelming smell in the room made it clear that they had been down there for hours, if not longer. Officers immediately called for backup and alerted the Colorado Department of Human Services. The children were removed from the basement and reunited with their parents. Many parents arrived in tears, horrified at what had been going on behind the scenes at a daycare they had trusted with their most precious loved ones. As the investigation unfolded, more shocking details came to light. Carla Faith had created the false wall specifically to hide children during inspections. She knew she was violating the law by taking in far more children than her license allowed, but she didn't care. The additional children meant more money in her pocket, and she had gone to great lengths to keep her operation running. Even more disturbing was Carla's history. Investigators discovered that she had previously operated daycare facilities in California, where she had been shut down for similar violations. Somehow, despite her record, she managed to open a new daycare in Colorado and deceive both regulators and parents alike. The fallout was immediate and far-reaching. Carla Faith was arrested, along with 3 of her employees, Christina Swager, Caitlin Nelson, and Valerie Fresquez. They faced multiple charges, including child abuse and attempting to influence a public servant. Prosecutors described the operation as not only illegal but also inhumane, pointing to the mental and physical harm inflicted on the children due to the overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. The community was outraged. Parents demanded answers, not just from Carla Faith, but also from the Colorado Department of Human Services. How had someone with such a questionable past been allowed to operate a daycare? Why hadn't regulators caught on sooner? The incident prompted a full review of the state's childcare licensing process. Officials admitted there were gaps in the system, particularly when it came to checking an applicant's history in other states. New measures were put in place to prevent similar incidents, including stricter background checks, surprise inspections, and increased oversight of in-home daycare facilities. The emotional toll on the families was profound. Many parents struggled with guilt, wondering how they had missed the signs. Some spoke out publicly, sharing their stories in hopes of preventing other families from experiencing the same trauma. They described how Carla Faith had earned their trust, presenting herself as a caring and competent provider, only to betray that trust in the most egregious way. In the years since the incident, the story of the children found behind the wall has become a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance and accountability in childcare. It serves as a reminder that even in seemingly safe and quiet neighborhoods, things aren't always as they appear. For the families involved, the scars of that day will never fully heal. But their voices have sparked change, ensuring that no child in Colorado or anywhere else will have to endure what those 26 children went through in the basement of Play Mountain Place. So, what do you think? Is this story true or not? Let me know in the comments, and we will reveal the answer in our next video. And now, let's address our previous story, the disappearance of Maura Murray. The story of Maura Murray's disappearance is true because it's based on real events backed by evidence and eyewitness accounts. On February 9, 2004, Maura's car crashed on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. A bus driver, Butch Atwood, saw her at the scene and offered help, but she said she had already called for assistance, even though phone records show she didn't. By the time police arrived just a few minutes later, she was gone. Her disappearance has been investigated for years, with police reports, her car, and her belongings giving solid proof that this happened. Maura was a real person, a 21-year-old nursing student, and the events leading up to that night, like her unusual behavior, withdrawing $280 and packing her car for a trip north, are all documented. What makes this story even more mysterious is that no one has found clear answers despite countless searches, tips, and theories. Whether she left on her own, met with foul play, or something else happened, her case remains one of the most puzzling unsolved mysteries. It's not just a story. It's a real-life event that continues to baffle investigators and the public. If you enjoy our stories, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.